we were quite lucky in that the people at Jetstar, they're actually quite forward thinking, and I'm not just saying that because they were a major first customer in this. They really were, and they identified that themselves, and that's why it went from just being a SMS scan into part of the whole boarding system. Their projections are that they expect to have 80% of their passengers actually using SMS because of the ability to be used across a mobile phone handset. And that's why we're integrating into their IBM kiosks and into a whole bunch of their other existing infrastructure so that all of their passengers can use it. But their point of view is that it changes aircraft boarding or airline boarding in that you don't need a piece of paper, it's on your mobile phone, you can go straight to the gate, it's able to be entirely self-service. So for them, there was a drive, that was a large part of the driving force.
Yes, we're already doing digital coupons, gift vouchers, pay-as-you-go at petrol stations, pretty much anything that you can purchase online, you can actually receive a digital coupon, swipe it, ready to go.
The piece of paper is not there for any kind of technological reason. It's simply because current Australian law means you have to switch your mobile phone off as you board the plane, and they check where you're seated on the plane, and if there's any argument over who sits where, they need a piece of paper. So there's no technology reason why we have it, it's there because of regulation. Over time, as they start to move toward allowing you to have your mobile phone on the plane, which is happening, it would mean that there's no need to have that printout and you move toward a paperless ticketing system. I don't think that humans are going to go away altogether. We'll still need them to be able to do certain tasks. One of the things we've seen in the airline industry, especially overseas as we start working with airlines over there, is that there's a need to make sure that the person who boards the aircraft isn't drunk, and you know, that they've got the right attire and all that type of thing. Which, you know, technologies aren't quite there yet to do that on its own, and you probably wouldn't want it because there's a level of, occasionally there's a need and there's a complaint that this doesn't happen enough in the airline industry, but there's sometimes a need for empathy to actually understand what a situation is as opposed to saying yes, no, 0, 1. So whilst there's a definite move toward automated systems and either lowering costs by having less staff or using your existing staff for other functions, I don't think it's yet a replacement. I don't think it will be for quite a while.
At the World Cup, I'd say we had about a 70-30 swing to mobile ticketing. People would arrive at the bus station, scan straight off their phone and walk straight on. And I see a lot within the airline industry, especially in the US, where there is no boarding gate before the plane. You actually purchase your tickets on the plane. So that's the first human interaction you'd get, and I see mobile ticketing moving into those smaller airlines a lot more efficiently on a mobile ticket instead of a paper ticket, where they can actually walk up with a scanner online and on board the plane and actually go beep 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 and know exactly who's there. We've also noticed that for a number of different industries within boating and the rest of it, where there's a number of guests coming aboard and that same mobile phone can be swiped on and off the boat as they're heading off, because it can actually be used as a pass in and a pass out, so they've got full record of exactly who's on the boat and who's left and docked and gone off. So as things progress in all systems like this, you'll find more and more mobile ticketing being the norm.
Yeah. I guess the one of the things that you look at is also not just the scanning, but what it integrates into. In terms of what the uptake will be. Actually, if you could put my PowerPoint up quickly and go to the very last frame. You can see this is a prototype we developed, and we developed it in 6 weeks. In about 6 weeks, we developed it from scratch, and we developed it for an exhibition showing our scanner integrated into an actual boarding gate. So in this case, there would be 100% penetration of people who would want to use this particular gating facility because it was entirely mobile phone based. there's the ability to add additional support for older technologies, but there's definitely a push toward this. And like I said, no, it is a forecast, so it's not set in stone, but Jetstar is hoping to get up to 80% of their passengers using this, and Qantas is looking at the same type of numbers.
Yes, we have done a number of promotions here with companies, with so on the top of Bulla, getting free headphones and beers and things with your ski pass straight to your mobile phone, and a number of other discount coupons that we've given excuse me, via a login that consumers use, and then they receive a gift voucher or discount coupon back to their phone. It is slowly moving into the retail sector, but obviously they're noticing a major swing and an ability to identify their consumers a lot more by having similar technologies around. Yes, actually in 2008, the state political reporter from the Herald came to do an article, and I offered the Victorian government a free ticketing solution, totally cost-free, if they drop my key. We're still waiting for an answer.
The government never seems to like free systems. We made an offer about that regarding something else, and they turned it down. Absolutely. It was free.
So I decided to charge 100 billion. And
that'll do it. There was actually, when we announced the system, there was actually a little article in the Herald Sun saying the exact same thing, that we should replace the Mighty system. It was a nice thing to read, felt quite good, but then reality hit, and unless we do exactly that, unless we're consultants from France and everything else, they don't seem to want to listen to people who have solutions in their own backyard.
So you heard it there, folks. Anyone on Twitter right now, please get that message out with #MoMoMelb. Most appreciated by Aaron and Tony.
Really, the mobile space is what the desktop space was in the 80s, and you see movies like Pirates of the Silicon Valley and all that type of stuff. It's all very inspiring, but the reality is, if you play it smart, if you have consistency of a product across a broad range, it doesn't matter what mobile phone they have. Everyone has a mobile phone. Everyone is a big owner. The reality is, almost everyone has a mobile phone, so it's a really large platform, it's a large canvas, and this is the time when people are starting to spend money for content. I mean, if you ever look at the internet, it was always, it's free, it's a free business model. Google's free, MSN's free, everything's free. People are starting to be willing to pay for applications, they're willing to pay for usage of services. So I think it's a really good time to get embedded now into that industry and become a player in that industry rather than waiting for it. So that's why we aim for mobile space.
Also, the mobile space is huge, and it's forever growing. Every year there's a lot more content and a lot more features available on phones that make them more viable for a lot of merchants out there to actually get behind the technology. What it's done for us is we've been able to start off with mobile ticketing, but we've now moved on to online FPOS and mobile payments, which all relate around a similar task within our system. So, being willing to adapt your model to what the market requires is I'd say, the most important thing about getting into this field is don't set your goals so straight that you can't diversify from it, because in time you'll notice that diversifying actually brings a lot more